This is the Zenistar, the 300-day login reward weapon. A heavy blade that deals purely heat damage, has good status, and has a nice quirk. This is the Proto-Zenistar. Now, just by looking at it, it's not really different. What are you talking about, Dark Gaming? What is this? Well, did you notice the stats? The build you see and this build you see, these are two different builds, but they're on the same weapon. And if you noticed, on the first one, I was running Blood Rush. Whoa, Dark Gaming, what are you doing? The Zenistar only has 5% crit chance. It's not crit worthy. Indeed, it isn't. But let me tell you, the Proto-Zenistar was. What is going on, guys? Dark Gaming here. Let's rant about it. I want to rant about the Proto-Zenistar. Now, this is not an actual weapon. Let me just crush your dreams real quick. But it's a weapon that I definitely want to see. Now, why do I call it the Proto-Zenistar? What the hell is this thing that I call Proto-Zenistar? Let me elaborate. Let me explain to you a little bit in what sort of way is this a weapon that you might just actually want to see. Well, fun fact, consoles don't exactly like the daily reward login weapons. So, well, let's just say they were kind of broken when they came out. So weapons like the Azima and the Zenistar so far is the only two that we have, but these weapons don't exactly like console, to say the least. The Azima's stats were completely wrong, and it couldn't fire its magazine. The Zenistar was basically the same, that its stats were wrong, and it couldn't shoot out its disc on the charge. And to be honest, yeah, it basically ruined the whole purpose of the weapon, it being a unique weapon with the radial fire damage disc. And I'm talking about the Zenistar now, by the way. But here's where things get interesting. The Proto-Zenistar. This is the Zenistar before it was fixed. This is the Zenistar that consoles received upon first launch of the weapon, which is the first days of its release. Now, why the hell are the stats wrong upon the first day of release on consoles? Don't ask me that. I can't honestly tell you. But what I can tell you is that they were wrong. And we ended up with the weapon I like to call the Proto-Zenistar, which was a Cindo Prime lacking the IPS, but having the heat damage. And I checked this up, and it is indeed the exact same. The entirety of its stats match up with the Cindo Prime. So the Zenistar, or Proto-Zenistar, was effectively a Cindo Prime with heat damage. Now, no slash, no impact, no puncture, just heat damage. Of course, this could be a minority instead of a majority to some people. Perhaps you're one of those guys that runs shattering impact like myself, and you prefer IPS weapons so you can strip that armor off real quick. But then again, perhaps you're a person that really loves crit status hybrid weapons, and you just don't really see a reason to run slash. You want a weapon that can do a lot more corrosive, a lot more blast, a lot more toxin, that sort of stuff. Well, this is where the Proto-Zenistar comes in. If you're a melee main, the Proto-Zenistar is for you, because the Zenistar, you just throw out the disc and then you forget the weapon even exists. Well, the Proto-Zenistar is a different story, because as I aforementioned, the weapon cannot use its disc. This was not an implemented feature back then. For the Proto-Zenistar was just a Cindo Prime with a reskin and different damage value. That was effectively what it was. But I'm not here to talk about whether or not it could use its disc or not. I'm here to talk about bringing the weapon back. Because I seriously want to see the weapon come back. Because when I got it and when I used it, I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I love the Zenistar, but the Proto-Zenistar is a lot more fun. Because the gameplay you see in the background is with a Proto-Zenistar. And it's on MOT just to see how tough the enemies are against it when it really starts to rack up those crits. You might have noticed by now, this thing crits quite often. It has only 15% crit chance, but it crits quite hard. And that is where it differs from the Zenistar. It can't use the disc, but it can use crit. And that's why I want to see the weapon back. As a melee main, I love to see weapons that can really output that damage really quick, and you see those giant numbers. It's one of the main reasons why I took so long to make this video. I just wanted to see the numbers competing against other weapons we have right now, such as say Galatine Prime. And obviously it's never gonna beat a Galatine Prime, but those crits are quite deadly, let me tell you. So, would you even bother using this weapon? Would you even try acquiring the Proto-Zenistar if it was ever brought back as a legit weapon? Because this was a glitch weapon. It was not even meant to be a thing. It's just that, well, daily login reward weapons were kind of bugged on console. And I hope that that is an issue that it will be resolved in the next one. Rifle. Anyway, I honestly had a lot of fun using the Proto-Zenistar while it lasted, and it was a really nice weapon, let me tell you. But it was a glitch weapon, which meant I was not gonna keep it. And this is why I make this video, because I want to see this weapon come back. With all that you see here, with all that you heard so far, do you think that the Proto-Zenistar should come back as a legit weapon, named Proto-Zenistar? I think it should. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and let's just hope that we'll get to see the weapon return.